Howdy folks, and welcome to my Stamina Necromancer solo build for ESO. Now, Stamina Necromancers are extremely fun class to play. I like it a lot. They are extremely simple, yet very effective. And this build in particular will get you through all the solo content in the game. So this is Stamina Necromancer. Now, as you can see, I put 64 points into stamina, which gives me 13k magicka, 22.5k health, and 30k stamina almost. Now, I'm using lava food soup and salt rice. You can also, if you feel like 22.5k health is not enough, use Dubious Cameron Throne. It will give you slightly less stamina, but it will give you a lot more health. And slightly less stamina recovery as the lava food soup and salt rice. But if you feel like you're struggling and 22.5k health is not enough, you can use the Dubious Cameron Throne. It's not that expensive to buy in guild stores, so you'll be good to go. Now, as you can see, my weapon damage is 4.2k. Weapon crit is kind of low, 23%. But the physical penetration is 11.5k. Now, the reason for the physical penetration being so high is because I'm using the Lover Mundus Stone. And the boss resistances in, for example, Maelstrom Arena or Watershran Hollows is either 11k or 18.2k. So to deal the full damage, you need 18,000 penetration, or as close to that number as you can get. Now, I'm currently sitting at 11,422, but that will go up to almost 18,000 when you get to the skills. But for the toughest or the tougher bosses in Vatasharan Hollows or Maelstrom Arena or world bosses, you want to bump up your physical penetration as close to 18.2k as you can get. Those bosses that have 11,000, I'm not exactly sure if it's 11,000 or 11,500. Let's say 11k. You will be doing like the full damage with this penetration. With the skills that you're going to be using, you'll be over penetrating, but it doesn't really matter because those bosses are not those that you need to be worried about. And those tough bosses have 18.2k, so that's why we need as much penetration as possible. Now, the gear that I'm using is Crack Monster Set. This one is heavy to give me more resistances as a heavy piece, but also to give me more penetration as if this was a, for example, Slimecraw light piece. Because this one gives me 1487 offensive penetration, well, physical and spell penetration, but a light piece would give me 939. So this gives me more penetration than a light piece, and gives me more resistances than a light piece. So I'm kind of more durable. Now, the second set that I'm using is the best set for stamina solo content in the game, in my humble opinion. It's extremely easy to get. You can all have it all in like half an hour most. And it's called the Vicious Ophidian. This comes from Helra's Citadel, which is one of the oldest trials in the game. All you have to do is go to Kraglorn, and within 5 minutes you'll be in a group heading for normal Helra Citadel, because people usually farm this set, Advancing Yokida or Berserking Warrior, whichever you prefer. But people are farming this set because this is one of the best front bar stamina damage dealing sets in this game. So you'll have a group in no time, and people will give you pieces that they don't need. So you can have this in extremely short amount of time. Now what this set does is it gives you crit chance, then Minor Slayer, which is extremely important. Minor Slayer is one of the most important attributes you can get on a set, because it gives you 5% more damage to dungeon, trial and arena monsters by default. Like, just wearing this, you do 5% more damage. The next is again crit chance and weapon and spell damage, and the second 5-piece bonus is the most important in my opinion. In solo content you can drink potions every 45 seconds if you don't use the potion glyph speed glyphs, potion speed glyphs. Why would you? It's silly. So what this gives you, it reduces the cost of your stamina abilities by 8%, which is huge. But on top of that, when you kill an enemy, you restore 2.5k almost stamina, which is insane, and you gain major expiration for 8 seconds. This is just absolutely fantastic set. You don't have to sprint as much, and especially in the arenas, there are situations where you have to kill some odds as quickly as possible or interrupt some odds. Dremora Kindgald in the second to last stage in Maelstrom Arena comes to mind. You have to go and kill that dude or interrupt as soon as possible, because Dremora Kindgalds will kill you. They start spinning their staffs or whatever they're spinning above their heads, shoots fireball at you, and then you're dead basically in seconds. So with this set, you're practically almost all the time 30% faster. You have nearly infinite sustain, and you have a Minor Slayer at all times, which again, you by default do 5% more damage. And the crit chance and weapon and spell damage is a fantastic bonus on top of that. Now, stamina players have advantage over Magicka players in regard to solo content and this set, because there is equivalent called the False God. That's for Magicka, which is the very same thing, but there are two versions of that set. One is normal and one is perfected. The perfected version doesn't have the first 5-piece bonus, the 129 weapon and spell damage. So if you want the perfected version, you have to go to Veteran Sunspire. Now, Vicious Ophidian drops in normal Helra Citadel. It's one of the oldest trial sets in the game. So all you have to do is go to Kraglorn, and you can have this like literally within an hour or maybe 2. It doesn't really matter how long it will take. It will be quick, and you'll be good to go. Now, I'm using the Ring of Pale Order. The reason being that there is no better piece of equipment for solo content than the Ring of Pale Order. For this, you need to have the Greymoor chapter and be able to scry and excavate antiquities. Now, for people that don't want to spend money or cannot spend money on this game, if you look in the store, DLC, where are you? Greymore. 3.5k crowns. Now you can buy crowns with the in-game gold. So all you have to do is save up some gold, go farming, farm materials, refine materials, sell the gold, upgrade materials, and you'll have enough gold to buy crowns for the Greymore chapter in no time. And you're good to go, basically. So it's not a matter of spending money on this game, because at first, as it is with the new chapter, the High Isles, you have to buy it with the real money. But after a certain period of time, those DLCs will come to the store and are purchasable with crowns. As you can see elsewhere, Clockwork City, those were all chapters, right? Morrowind was a chapter. So you can buy these. Somerset was a chapter, right? So you can buy the chapters after a certain period of time, or you can have them for free. Basically, you can buy them with in-game gold eventually. So that's just an advice how to get to the mythics without spending any money, right? So Ring of Pale Order restores 20% of the damage deal as health. You basically don't need any other healing abilities. I'm using Vigor because I'm a fool, and that's my oh shit button, because I usually get distracted, don't pay attention, get too overconfident, and that kind of stuff. We all do that. So I always have the Vigor ability ready to when the shit goes down. But otherwise, Ring of Pale Order will... Like, for example, imagine you have 10k DPS, which is on the low side. This gives you 2k health back every second, right? If you have 10,000 damage per second, this will give you 2,000 healing back per second. So unless you do silly things like me, you cannot die. Now the second set, the front bar set that I'm using is good old Togwin. Now Togwin is a DLC dungeon set. You can get it, if I'm not mistaken, from Frostvault. Now, again, you can buy the DLC for in-game gold. Right? It should be there, here somewhere. Not Flames of Ambition. It's here somewhere, right? But you don't have to buy it because Elder Scrolls Online, there are events every now and then. Every couple of months there is an event, ESO Plus, for 7 days for free. And what you should do is, when the event happens, you should go to do normal DLC dungeons, all of them. Like, farm it with your friends and get the DLC dungeons that it is. Just farm this stuff, because when you have it collected, you can reconstruct those pieces even if you don't have the DLC anymore, or access to the DLC anymore. Which means that there's Frostvault, there's Togwin. If you farm this during the ESO Plus event, you will be able to reconstruct it after the event has passed. Fantastic. So Togwin's Warband gives you a crit chance offensive penetration, which is insanely important in solo content. And then when you deal critical damage, you gain a stack of precision, increasing your critical chance by 175 for 5 seconds, up to 10 stacks. At max stacks, you also gain minor force, increasing your critical damage done by 10%. Now, with this set, as I mentioned, my crit chance is 23.3. And this, if I'm not mistaken, is it 5%, 10%? This increases the critical chance, but also it gives you minor force, which means you don't have to use the trap, right? So this is a fantastic set, especially for solo content. I'm using Sharpened Greatsword. Again, Sharpened because penetration, and Greatsword because we have, where are you? This one. Swords increase your weapon damage and spell damage by 284. So with a sharpened sword, you deal more damage. There was some testing done by some people on YouTube and the internet between sharpened sword and Nirnhound Warhammer, two-handed hammer, and the sharpened sword was the better option out of those two. So that's why they did some testing with their stats and their DPS and that kind of stuff. So from that, I will link the video in the description. From that, you can see that the Greatsword is slightly better than the two-handed mace. Now, on my back bar, there is something different. Usually people use the Maelstrom bow or any other bow that you can find. I'm using Maelstrom's Perfected Greatsword. You don't have to have the perfected version at all, because what it gives you 1.2k penetration, right? There it is. And since it's on the back bar, you're not spending much time on your back bar. So the offensive penetration is kind of wasted. But what you use this for is dealing damage with a critical charge or morphs, causes enemies to bleed for 10k bleed damage over 7 seconds. Now, this will go up if you drink a potion, right? There we go, almost 12k now. So this is just using the charge, critical charge or morphs, and you do 12k damage over 7 seconds. Why not? So this is the gear setup. These are the stats. And as you can see, when you drink a potion, you have 5k weapon damage. And 35k, 35% weapon crit. If I'm not mistaken, this is 5% increase for Togwin, so you get 40% crit chance, which is not bad. Why not, right? With 7.8, that's back bar, 11.5 almost penetration, which is fantastic. Now the skills. One of the reasons why I don't care really that much about the crit chance is this one, Death Knell. Increases your critical strike chance against enemies under 25% by 4% for each Grave Lord ability slotted. So 12% more crit chance. So again, if you drink a potion, that's 35. You get 5%, if I'm not mistaken, from Togwin. So that's 40. And you get another 12 from the death knell, so you're at 52. Which is nice. Why not? So the front bar skills that I'm using are Blast Bones, your main, so to speak, main skill. This is your basic source of damage. You should always use Blast Bones when you can. When it's ready, use it. The next one is Carve. This gives you a damage shield, 5.7k, unbuffed. And also it deals 6.7k bleed damage to enemies in front of you, and it causes them to bleed for additional 9.5k over 12 seconds. Bleed can stack up to 3 times. Right? So Blast Bones, Carve, you use this like at all times in your rotation, but it's especially nice when you have like 3-4 enemies in front of you. You use this and they all bleed like crazy. The next skill, Detonating Siphon, you use it on a corpse and it deals very nice damage. The next one is Executioner, which is the execute, for the execute phase. Now, I'm not using the other morph. My reasoning is that when you're using this skill, you want to kill that particular guy. You don't care about the other guy that may be around, may not. So that's the other morph that deals some damage to the enemies around the primary target. But I want to kill that dude, that boss there. So this deals more damage for that particular single enemy. But that's just my reasoning. Now, next one, Wrecking Blow. Your main spammable, basically. What this does, it deals some damage, and it grants you Empower every time you use it, which increases your damage with light and heavy attacks by 40%. Fantastic. Main ultimate, this is what you will be using to kill stuff. Pestilent Colossus. It deals significant damage, over 35k unbuffed, but it also applies major vulnerability for 15 seconds, which increases the damage that the enemies take by 10%. Now, I know the tooltip says 12, but this lasts for 3 seconds, the ultimate. I mean, it's 3 fist slams into the ground, so dealing damage counts as towards the major vulnerability, pardon me. So 3 seconds for the ultimate duration, and then 12 more seconds, so it's 15 seconds altogether, which is very nice. Now, the back bar. The ultimate is Temporal Guard. You will never ever use this. Well, you may use it in certain situations, especially in Vateshran Hollows, but that's extremely situational and only usable with the last boss in Vateshran Hollows, with the very last boss, when she calls out the ring of shades, so to speak, connected with the beam. And if you stand just in front of them when they appear, and as they slowly move inwards, you move with them, and after like 4 seconds you press this ultimate, it will port you out of the range where you were before, but it will be behind the ring because the ring has shrunk already of the shades. So you'll be outside of the ring with no damage. It's extremely situational. You have to perfectly time it, and it's not very advisable thing to do, but it's usable. But what you use this ultimate for, it's there for minor projection. So when you're in your back bar, you take 5% less damage. So when you start taking damage and your Ring of Pale Order cannot out-heal it, you go to your back bar, you press your oh shit button, and that's when this comes handy, because you need to regenerate health as quickly as possible and mitigate the damage you take in. So this is extremely useful in that situation. This is there to get you more healing, but extremely useful in arenas and stuff like that, because every time you siphon a corpse, you gain 6 ultimates. So you will be able to spam the Colossus like crazy. Then there is a Stampede, which is a morph of Critical Charge. Remember Maelstrom Sword? So what this does is it deals 6.8k physical damage unbuffed. It's always a critical strike, so plus 50% minimum, depending on your modifiers. And after reaching your target, you sunder the ground beneath you, dealing 2k physical damage to all enemies in the area every 1 second for 10 seconds. So that's another almost 20k damage on top of this 10k damage. Right? So this is why Maelstrom perfected Greatsword. Next one is the Unnerving Boneyard. I know it's Magicka and frost damage and stuff like that, but first of all it deals 10k frost damage, which is very nice. But it also reduces the physical and spell resistance of the enemies standing within, so everyone inside the circle, by 6k. I'll come back to this penetration. 11.5 plus almost 6. It's almost 17.5k. Right? And resistances of the toughest bosses in Maelstrom and Vateshran Hollows are 18.2k. So you're almost at the cap. Right? So this is why all the Lovermundu Stone, Krag, Monster Helmets, and Zogwin Sharpened Greatsword. So this deals nice damage, and also if it consumes a corpse, which you will have all around you, corpses all the time, it deals 50% more damage. Why not? Now there is another morph that you can use, and is actually very nice doing solo content with, which allows you to use your own synergy. But since you're using Vicious Ophidian, you will never have any issues with sustain, like ever. So you use the more damage one, more damage oriented morph, and you need that penetration. Next one, Skeletal Archer. It's just a dude that sits there, runs around, and shoots people for 3k every 2 seconds. And every additional attack deals 5% more damage. So why not? Why not? Then there's the Resolving Veer oh shit button. If you are like me and make silly mistakes, you can use this if the Ring of Pale Order is not enough. Right? Now, the champion points, I'm going to have to swap around the champion points here, but this will go away, this will go in. This is another thing. Raving Blows. When you deal direct damage, you heal for 7% of the damage done. Right? So, again, more healing. Now, I'm going to use this here. Ironclad reduces the damage taken by direct damage attack by 2% per stage. Now, direct damage is the most frequent damage type in the game. Like everything that goes from you to the enemy, or from the enemy to you, which is majority of things. Light attacks, heavy attacks, even some dots and that kind of stuff. Everything can be direct damage. Like majority of things in the arenas, like archers, frostcasters, melee guys, bosses, they do some AoEs and stuff like that, but majority of the damage is direct damage. So that's when Ironclad comes in handy. 10% damage reduction. Next one, Deadly Aim, Master at Arms. To improve your damage. These two are for your survivability. These two are to increase your damage. Deadly Aim increases your damage done with single target attacks by 2% per stage, so 10%. And Master at Arms, the same applies for direct damage. So another 10%. And again, if you look at your scales, this is direct damage, 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 this is direct damage. Right? This is not, this is dot. Right? And this, I'm not really sure if the first tick counts as direct damage. Some dots, the first tick applies as a direct damage, but like the damage over time does not. But that if this counts as direct damage, it's only the first tick, not the full duration of the boneyard. But this is direct damage. This is direct damage. Like you have a lot of direct damage ability. This. It's just direct damage. I mean, the carve is the only the first 6.3k is direct damage. The bleed is not. But still, it's like you mostly do direct damage. So that's why you use this. And this. I have Boundless Vitality, Fortified, Rejuvenation, and Bloody Renewal. You can use other stuff if you want, but this is what I use. Green tree doesn't matter. I highly recommend when you go soloing, have Rationer and Liquid Efficiency, because you don't want to look at your food all the time and like, oh, do I still have food available, food buff available or not? You don't really care about that. So this is kind of a different take on Stamina Necromancer, I would say, because majority of people would use bow instead of greatsword. But I find this Stampede thing extremely useful because, first of all, with the greatsword it deals a shit ton of damage, so to speak. Pardon my French. But the thing is, you can use it as a gap closer. Right? What is? Give me 2 seconds. What is some enemy? Kakuti? No, hello. You can use it as a gap closer. Oh, there's one, right? You're here, you're finishing off this guy, right? And there's another archer, Dremora Kaingal, whatever. Right? Now, my food has run out. Yeah, of course it did. So I don't have any food. It doesn't really matter at the moment. So, again, this is my take on a solo Stamina Necromancer. Easy to use class. Again, if you want it, and you don't want to or cannot spend money on this game, you can buy it for gold. Again, upgrades, class, there it is, 1,500 crowns. If you save up your gold, you can get it for free. Ta-da! So it's just an info. Almost everything you see in the game, you can have for free. Eventually, you may have to wait until it comes to the crown store for crowns, and not as, for example, chapter. right now, High Isle. But High Isle will soon be in the DLC section, so you can get it for free. So that's it. I thank you guys for watching. I will be posting Savatish run and Maelstrom Marine runs. I will go for... I don't have a flawless on this guy. No. So I will go for flawless run very soon. Maybe even today. I will be streaming it on Twitch. So maybe I'll see you there. So once again, I thank you guys for watching. And I'll see you next time.